Hi there, this is Brian Hess with the Triton Voyages, and I'm just doing a quick update as of January the 16th. I'm sorry, January the 12th, 2016. Uh, as you know, about this time last year, there was drama in the Hood Canal, and the boat had beached, and there was all kinds of nasty things going on. And of course, I had mentioned last year that I was planning on moving back to the East Coast, and was really indecisive as to how that was going to happen or when. So a lot of those things, a lot of things were happening that I really didn't have a lot of control over it. Although I did manage to deal with it from across the country rather well, and was able to get things done that need to be done. And when I did get back to Washington, and then finally on the boat, things turned out okay. And then for the remainder of the summer, I spent all that time on the hook, and I got to know the boat really well, inside and out. Was able to formulate what sort of priorities I have that need to be fixed first. So I have kind of a plan as to how I can go about fixing all that. What kinds of things do I need in order to make the boat, usable offshore and safe? Because eventually I'd like to be able to move the boat to the East Coast, and the way to do that would be through the Panama Canal. But that's all offshore cruising, and if I wanted to do that by myself and be able to solo with the boat, there's some equipment that needs to be on board in order to make that happen. And of course, they're not exactly cheap items either. They're actually rather big ticket items. They're pretty costly. So it's going to take some time to get all that stuff accomplished. Meanwhile, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to be spending more time in Pennsylvania than in Washington from now on. My support network is here. My family is all here. The only support network I have in Washington is through the different veterans organizations I've been part of. And while I really appreciate and I value those friendships and those connections very much, my family is all here, and things are changing, and family has to come first. And at the same time, I have to also do what's right for me, because I'll be honest with you, Washington State is very poisonous for me. I've had a lot of drama with people out there over the last 5 or 6 years. I've been living there for 19 years. Started out being on the Carl Vinson during my journalism career, and that was drama in it of itself. And people talk about drama in the workplace. It's everywhere. Drama at home, drama in neighborhoods, drama all over the place, drama on television. I'm not just talking like soap operas and serials and programming on TV. I'm talking about just life in general is nothing but a drama that's unfolding. So what do? Well, the thing is I need to excise myself from those situations. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to put myself in a position where I can be able to deal with things in a much more stress-freer environment. Much more stress-free environment. So the boat, since it's in a marina and it's safe, I don't have to worry about it. I don't feel compelled to have to be on top of it all the time. So I can spend more time with my folks here, and then I can, a couple of months out of the year, in the summertime, go out there to work on the boat, do some of the projects that need to be done, do some sailing. That would be my vacation. So now it's just a matter of cleaning up loose ends, getting my VA stuff transferred to Pennsylvania, so getting the VA on board, figuring out what they're going to do, if this is something that's going to work, get everything transferred to here so that I can start preparing to make the final move with the boat when it's ready to do the offshore cruising. Because I like to put it in the Chesapeake Bay, which is only a couple hours away from here. So, yeah, I have a lot of priorities. I'm going to be hitting Patreon pretty hard this year. I'm going to be really promoting Patreon to try and help raise some of this money to help supplement what I'm putting into these projects. while I'm there. Living in Pennsylvania is a lot cheaper than out there on the West Coast. The cost of living is way better here. So I'm able to save more money by being in Pennsylvania than if I'm in Washington all the time. Washington's just really expensive, and I get nickel and dimed by stuff there way too easily. So that way, the boat's in a safe spot. I can go out and visit it for a couple months at a time. I don't have to spend anywhere near as much money doing it this way. Even just flying out there, not a problem because I don't need a vehicle where the boat is located. I can use the infrastructure there because I'm rather familiar with it, having lived there for so long. So I just need to get a car and keep it here in Pennsylvania. Because that right now is one of the big issues I have. I really need a car before I can, get an apartment or a house outside of town. So I'm limited as to what is available around here. So we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to spend more time in Pennsylvania than in Washington from now on. Secondly, I'm getting more involved with the church again while I've been back. I'm going to be joining the vestry here. I'll probably be transferring my VFW and Marine Corps Elite memberships to this area at some point this year. I haven't decided just how I'm going to do that yet. I'm going to talk with those individuals in Washington first beforehand so that they're aware of what my plans are. One of the things that's nice is having social media available to me. It keeps me in touch with those people almost in real time. So yeah, there's lots of things I need to do to upgrade the boat to get it ready for offshore cruising. It's going to take a couple of years to do all that stuff anyway. So it doesn't make any sense for me to stay out there like I have been. So it's just going to make more sense for me to relocate here more permanently and start rebuilding now sooner than later. Because, you're rebuilding every time you move. So you're forging relationships and connections with people, which I've been doing anyway. Every time I come back. And then, of course, every time I'm here, I'm asked, well, why aren't you going to stay? Why can't you just stay? And this is not just the family. This is other people that, I'm associated with at church. They're asking me the same questions. So we'll be discussing this in more detail as time goes on. So far, this visit's been pretty decent. My mom and dad, they have things going on, just like I have things going on at the same time. So far, things have been working out all right. The timing seems to be right. And then I think what'll happen is, as I make this transition from Washington to Pennsylvania, it'll just be easier in the long run. Because since the cost of living is cheaper here than it is in Washington, even if I'm not making a lot of money off of Patreon through donations to the Triton Voyages, I'm actually going to be able to do a lot of this field work on my own. So Patreon will just be there as a supplement if people are willing to do this. So I'm compiling everything from last year. I should be publishing that pretty soon. And once I have something up, I'll put a note out for everyone to see it. And I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be a lot better this way. I went to a men's group meeting this morning from church, talked with people there. I've got a pretty good support network for friends and family around this area, so it just makes sense. Last year when I was on the hook, I got a chance to spend a lot of time with the boat and getting to know the different systems and what needs to be upgraded. So I'll be able to have a priority list. I do know I have to replace my mainsail. My head sails are still serviceable. They're still pretty usable, but I would like to get a roller reefing system for my head sails. It would make working on the boat in bad weather a lot easier. Wouldn't have to spend a lot of time up on the foredeck trying to fiddle with sails like I've had to do already in the past with a head sail disasters when sheets separate, which happens from time to time. I gotta do some other replacement of electronics on board. I need better communication systems. I need to have a better life. I need a life raft, actual emergency life raft for the life raft locker. I want to upgrade my anchoring system. I want to have a rigger go over my standing rigging to make sure everything's good to go on that. I think everything's fine. It looks good to me. I don't think that rigging's all that old. But the boat also needs to be tuned and looked at. The engine needs to be gone through. I was able to figure out the electronics issues with it and get it started. And then I discovered some other problems while running it that need to be addressed. So that's another project, another priority thing. Got a lot of carpentry work that needs to be done on board. So, and these are things that, you know, when you're doing it with hardwoods, it's not cheap by any stretch. So yeah, so I got some projects, you know, things that need to be done. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now and publish this on YouTube and get it going. And when I have season 2 up and ready to go, I'll shoot out a shout out to everybody who subscribed and post a link to it on Facebook as well. So thanks for watching. Check out Patreon if you want to donate to the Triton Voyages. Be my guest. And we'll talk again soon. Fair winds and following seas.